felt to me like the scene started that way, and then as the scene went on, it felt to me, and tell me if I'm wrong, there was an awareness of making sure that you were reacting and playing off of her.
Yeah, I felt it.
Yeah, so I know the feeling. I think that's, why I'm so hyper aware to those things, because those habits, the way your brain operates is the same way that my brain operates. And I remember dealing with this, how stupid it sounded when I realized that I'm watching myself to see if I'm watching myself. But it really does happen. But there, I'm asking you to put all of your energy into reacting, and I see you trying to do it, but it's like you're only 70%. The other 30 is watching Alexa to see if you're doing it. Do you follow what I'm telling you?
Yeah.
And what happens is that when you do this, you lose a tremendous amount of energy. It's almost like if you have a 6-cylinder car and now we're running on 4. And it's why isn't the car going as fast? I'm pressing the pedal because 2 of those cylinders aren't operating. You have a chunk of your engine focusing on the wrong thing. So what I had to do was sort of think about what it felt like for me when I was committing and react, in a conversation like I am with you. Now, I have no awareness that I'm reacting to you. I have no awareness that I'm reacting to a thought that I want to tell you. But it's all happening. And that's what committing means. And that's the faith part. That's the courage part. That's the different set of tools when I say preparing and executing. We're in executing now. So it's a whole different set of tools. You've got the preparation down. Now what you have to do is sort of process and think a little bit about, okay, I know what it feels like to commit to a moment and fully go there when I'm screaming. I need to take that and see if I can get that same experience when I'm quiet. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's not easy to do, but you're going to feel a difference because you're going to be aware. You're going to be aware that you're reacting. And if you're aware that you're reacting, you're not in the scene. The same thing now. Like if I was totally okay, play off of Alexa, react off of Alexa, just make sure I react to you. You would be like, I'd be weird. I'd be like, hey, But on the other hand, if I just tell myself, okay, I got to play off with students, I just do it. And I'm not watching. That's the faith. And that's going to take some courage. For people who want control, it's hard to do, Alexa. We are similar that way. We want control, clean and square and complete. You have to learn how to leave it incomplete and embrace the incomplete. There's an old saying, from Vince Lombardi, who was, who that was. It's called the Lombardi Trophy when you win the Super Bowl in football. But he had a saying, if you have to be willing to fail to win, something like that. You have to really be willing to fail, and that's hard. There's a difference. There's a difference between, okay, I can fail, and I can really fail, and now do, knowing that can happen. I like what you did as well, as far as the intensity, the emotion. I do feel like your character suffered from a little bit of that too, of sort of making sure that you were emotionally charged, making sure that you were intense. And then there was one part when she brought up your father and you reacted in a way that was hard for me to buy because it felt to me like you knew she was going to say that. And when she brings up the father thing, that comes out of nowhere. And so it doesn't feel to me like it's a fresh thing that you're playing off of. I think what's missing with you is that you have not focused enough on Alexa's lines and what she's actually telling you. I think you're on the right track with the intensity. I do. I think you're about 80% there, though. So I think what you're going to have to do is really think about what it's like to be in that state where you think you could die. And what I mean is in real life, like, and what this is substitution. And for me, the immediate thing that comes to mind for me, if I was in your position, when I was 16, I used to like race my car, and I was racing somebody on a mountain, and I was, squirming around, and I went around a turn that was, I didn't recognize it was too sharp. So instead of going like this, I went this, and then I went down the hill, and I was held on by barbed wire fence. Otherwise, I would have died because the car was stuck. But that feeling of like not being able to turn when I wanted to, and I'm going straight down a mountain, that freaked me out. Like I really thought I could. And then when you look at the mountain later, you're like, oh my God, that could have happened. You have to think about what that needs to feel like, because that's what we're going to be reflecting on if we know that you're going to be committing suicide, in 5 minutes. So I guess I would ask you, do you feel like you are close to what you are capable of, in that state, emotionally charged wise, to commit suicide in 10 minutes?
No.
So what are you going to do? It has nothing to do with being loud or frenetic. It's in here, and it's in here.
Yeah.
So